Movie Guide, we are on the move, and today we're here at the Reagan Library, and we're going to take a tour of the limited time exhibit, Dead Sea Scrolls. And not only are we doing that exciting tour, but we are doing it with a special surprise guest. Welcome, Nick Shakoour.
Hey, it's me again.
It's you again. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. The Dead Sea Scrolls.
The wood itself comes from both Lebanon and from Israel.
No way, kind of like me. This is gonna be so fun.
So Nick, thank you so much for coming back again. I love spending time with you, and today we're going and exploring the Dead Sea Scrolls. Dead Sea Scrolls.
It's a tongue twister.
It
Dead
is.
Sea Scrolls. Dead Sea Scrolls, Dead Sea Scrolls. I've actually always been curious about them, so I'm super excited to be here and do this walkthrough and experience it because it's cool. I mean, I'm all about things that are, uncovered from history and exploration.
We are here inside the Dead Sea Scrolls exhibit. We're with Nick and Melissa, so come along with us as we look at some of the highlights.
So this is the Sea of Galilee boat. It was found in the Sea of Galilee in 1986, but through carbon dating, they were able to prove that this actual boat was used the exact same time frame that Jesus was a fisherman. They could also prove through carbon dating that the wood itself comes from both Lebanon and from Israel.
No way,
What?
kind of like me. Well, a lot like me, but that's awesome.
Today, hosting the tour is Melissa Giller, and she is spokesperson of the Ronald Reagan Library. Thank you so much for joining us and helping put all this together.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
I'm so excited. So could you give us a little background of what the Dead Sea Scrolls are?
Yeah, so the Reagan Library brings in special exhibitions. Right now we have the Dead Sea Scrolls exhibition. The Dead Sea Scrolls make up the entirety of the Old Testament Bible, with the exception of the book of Esther, which they couldn't find. These documents are 2,000 years old, but it's also over 200 objects that were found, all as part of the excavation period. This is called the Magdala stone. This was found where the Second Temple resided. They believed it was actually a piece of furniture used in the Second Temple, potentially to hold Torah scrolls. But what makes this even more remarkable, on this side of the stone is the oldest known carving of a 7-branch menorah known to exist. So this makes this a really rare artifact as well. As they were excavating the area, these are various artifacts they found along Pilgrimage Road in the excavation. This is actually a mold, pottery, pens, jewelry. My favorite is over here because you love when something that's so old can relate to you. They found dice that look exactly like the dice we use today, but these are made out of bone.
Oh my gosh.
Because bone was a sort of an artisan tool that they would use, from everything to jewelry to hairbrushes to, knives, and they even made it into dice. So when you walk around this exhibition, you see a lot of items, ossuaries, which actually were used to collect human bones. When you walked up to the temple, you actually walked through a gateway, and these were actually pieces of the ceiling of the gateway that were found.
Oh wow.
So people didn't actually enter the temple. The temple was for priests, but you would have to pay a tithe for the festivals to sort of approach, and they found these coins by the temple, and they believe they were part of the temple tithe.
Oh wow.
Which is pretty remarkable.
So that's interesting. People didn't actually go into the
Yeah, they were
temple.
just for the priests, and when you hear priest, you think of the Christian or Catholic religions, but they were really the rabbis of today.
Yes.
So as you walk around this exhibition, you will just continue to see different artifacts. We talk about the siege of Masada, items like jewelry and again pots, shoes.
Look at how intricate.
It's just, even looking at these sandals, it's endearing, and it's also a little bit sad and humbling because it's like right now it's showing me like don't take everything that you're doing for granted in life, because one day that'll be
Right.
everybody's sneakers just kind of left behind.
And it also really connects you to the past.
Yeah.
This was on a person's foot, right? So it kind of brings you back, and you're not just looking at a piece of pottery, you're actually looking at something that someone wore. It makes you think about the person.
I think on a cellular level maybe, I always have a sense and a strong connection to those times. And I've always sensed that. And I don't know why. I mean, I get it. I'm from that part of the world, but I feel a direct connection to those times.
The reason why the scrolls were hidden is because the Second Temple and most of Jerusalem was destroyed. So here we talk about that story, and a lot of the destruction was by what's called ballistic balls, basically big, huge rocks that were flung at great speed at the Second Temple, what took it down. And when they were excavating the area, they actually found some of the ballistic balls.
And to imagine to hand make technology
Right.
that's not powered by anything but literal human,
Yeah.
operation is.
Now again, this exhibition is called the Dead Sea Scrolls. So the next thing we see are the actual Dead Sea Scrolls.
So the boy who found him, you said he was looking for a goat?
Yeah, so basically he was a goat herder, and one of them got away. And so it went into a cave, and he didn't want to go into the cave, so he started picking up rocks and throwing them into the cave, thinking he would scare the goat out. And instead, he literally found the Dead Sea Scrolls.
So the goat is really the one that gets the
found
credit
the Dead Sea
for all
Scrolls.
civilization being saved.
Once the first set was found, they started excavating all the caves and found hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of manuscripts. I think they found about 30,000. Some of them are actual scrolls in their entirety. Most of them are fragments. And they basically spent years puzzle piecing them together without the puzzle box, right? I mean, they know the stories of the Bible, and that's how they did it.
Makes you wonder what else,
What else is
we
in
haven't
there,
found,
right?
what other things.
So in the scrolls that they found the entirety of the Old Testament with the exception of the book of Esther. It's the only one they couldn't find. So of the 8 scrolls that we have on display right now, the one of most significance is the last one, which is the Great Isaiah Scroll. And why it's so important is because it's the book of Isaiah that talks about the possibility of Messiah coming.
I mean, that is just a trip, to state it bluntly. Wow.
So how did these Dead Sea Scrolls affect people's view of the validity of the Old Testament that we have today?
I mean, I think that's one of the things that makes these so important. You know, we all talk about the Bible, we see the Bible in our temples or our churches, but this is proof, right? 2,000 years ago, they were learning the same learnings that we're learning today, right? And so it almost provides, in a way, proof that all of this really is true. And is really such a spiritual way to sort of reinvigorate your faith. And that's actually one of the reasons, well, we're going to get to the 10 Commandments scroll next, but we specifically wanted that scroll during the Holy Week. Because what better way to honor Easter or Passover, whatever your religion is, than to see these principles that God gave to Moses that we still practice today.
Do you think it'll have any kind of impact on your faith? Like, do you think it'll change anything in your mind?
I don't know how much more impact I can take after the past 2 years of everything I've experienced, but everything, to be honest, seems a little bit more subdued now compared to these direct experiences, but I definitely want to check them out.
This right here is an actual piece, 2-ton piece of the Western Wall. This, of course, is just
No way.
get you involved. This is, and you're allowed to touch it. I do know that this piece fell. It wasn't actually taken out of the wall by people to try and break an exhibition. It was found fallen on the ground right around where the Second Temple was. But it's the holiest place in Jerusalem. And not only can you touch it, we encourage people to walk over and get a pencil and a piece of paper and write a prayer or a message. And by the end of each day, we have hundreds of messages in this wall. So for people who can't go, this is sort of a way to get that sense of what you might feel if you were actually there.
Wow.
Yeah, take your time.
Touch the Western Wall.
Have you ever been to Israel?
No, and I have always wanted to go for that
This reason.
specifically.
That's right.
And the fact that I'm standing here now getting
right.
to be in
That's
front
right.
of it is awesome.
You're welcome to leave a
Save
prayer
me a
here.
flight.
Good.
But like, I know the food, missing out on
Yeah.
that part, but wow.
Anywhere you want. You can put it on top, you can put it in a crack, whatever you want.
I'm gonna do it on the
Please do.
actual one. I'm gonna do it right here.
Okay, well now we've made it to the end. We've made it to why you're here. The actual 10 Commandments, Dead Sea Scroll. All the scrolls we saw downstairs are on papyrus and parchment. This is on leather, 2 pieces of leather sewn together. What they found was Deuteronomy, sections 8:5 to 10, as well as 5:1 to 6:1. Yeah, this is a scroll that took 45 minutes to put into the case because it has its own microclimate. It was just so important that everything was
That
exactly,
is very specific.
right? Perfect humidity, perfect light levels, perfect air pressure, to make sure that it's preserved for thousands of years to come. We've interviewed a lot of people, and randomly, we don't know who people are, right? We just see guests here and we ask them what they think. And we spoke to a man who happened to be a rabbi, and he said, all of these scrolls are penicillin for the soul. And it's been my favorite quote. I use it all the time.
You know, it would be nice not to kill anybody or to steal.
Right,
and
right.
Not to lie.
Not to cheat.
Not to cheat. It just would be nice.
And again, this scroll specifically only here through April 24th, the rest of the exhibition here through September 2nd.
And we got to see it.
You
What a
got to see it.
privilege to be able to do that. It's
I'm
awesome.
really glad you guys came.
And I'm super excited about just being here at the Reagan Museum because he was president when we first immigrated to the U.S.
And how old were you when you?
6.5 years old. So the fact that I'm sitting here in front of this gigantic airplane is so cool, and I can't wait for this. I do want to do one thing for this library because I wrote an autobiography.
Yes,
Like I wanted to donate a copy of this.
absolutely.
It would be
I
my
will-
honor
I
to
will.
have
I will put it in the archives.
here.
That's
Yeah.
incredible. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very
So.
much.
I'm gonna
I
cry
love
again.
that.
Yeah. No, because it's like full circle. So
Thank you.
I want to give this to the Reagan Museum.
That is.
Donate it.
Thank you.
Autobiography, and it'll
Our-
be here in the Reagan Library.
We're honored.
And it's my honor to give that, really.
Well, I just love the connection that you have to come
Yeah.
here during the Reagan presidency. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what he was all about: freedom and democracy,
Yeah.
and letting people in who
Yeah.
want to have that freedom.
It's full circle for me to
Yes.
come and do this tour here, and I signed the book too, so
Thank you.
it's here forever.
Thank
And
you very much.
it's so cool that I get to give this to you guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
If you enjoy videos that follow your values like ours and you want to help us continue, go to movieguide.org/donate because we're actually a nonprofit. You may not know that, but we're working in Hollywood every day to help families have more choices that follows their values. And also subscribe right now.